Number 1, your children have their own lives, and that's okay. One of the quiet heartbreaks of aging is watching your role in your children's lives gradually fade. These are the same children whose shoelaces you tied, whose foreheads you kissed goodnight, whose future you once carried in your arms. But life has its rhythm. Now they are grown, navigating careers that demand more time than they have. They're raising children of their own, managing health issues, or maybe even going through struggles they haven't shared with you. You may find yourself wondering why the phone doesn't ring as often, why the visits feel rushed, or why holidays feel different now. And here's the hard part. It's rarely personal. They still care, but the world is moving fast, and you're no longer the center of their lives, not out of rejection, but because that's the natural shift of generations. What matters now is how you respond. If you wait by the window hoping they'll fill your days, you may begin to feel invisible. But if you take the reins of your own joy by reaching out to new friends, building new routines, and nurturing your independence, you'll find that your world expands, not contracts. Freeing your children from unspoken expectations doesn't mean you let go of love. It means you love them while also loving yourself enough to build a life that isn't defined by waiting. Number 2, emotional distance often grows with time, but so can understanding. There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, but from being unseen. Your children may call once a week. They may ask if you're okay, but sometimes they don't stay on the line long enough to really listen. They might not realize how deeply you miss your partner who passed, or how much you struggle with mobility in the mornings, or how a single kind word can lift your whole day. They haven't walked in your shoes yet. And so emotional distance begins to settle in like dust, not because of neglect, but because of different worlds, different needs. But here's a secret that many discover in their 70s and 80s. Emotional connection can be found elsewhere, often in people your age who do understand, who know what it means to watch friends pass, who get the ache of silence after dinner, who remember the music of your youth and the politics of your past. When you speak to someone who has walked a path like yours, there's less explaining to do and more heart to share. That's why joining spaces with peers, support groups, social clubs, even online communities can be life-changing. You begin to feel seen again, heard, understood, and that understanding is sometimes even more healing than the love of family. Number 3, friends become your chosen family, and they often show up when you need them most. As we grow older, friendship transforms. It's no longer about popularity or social convenience. It becomes about authenticity, loyalty, and showing up, especially when things get hard. Tom's story is a perfect example. He's 76, widowed. His daughter lives in another state and often forgets to call, despite their old Sunday ritual. At first, he internalized the silence. Maybe I'm not interesting anymore, he thought. Maybe she's just too busy. But life has a way of nudging us forward. One Tuesday afternoon, restless and a little lonely, he visited a local senior center. That's where he met George, a man with similar stories, similar scars. They connected over something simple. Classic rock. Soon, their conversations turned to family, life after retirement, and the grief of feeling forgotten. What began as coffee became a lifeline. They started meeting every Tuesday. They checked in on each other. When Tom had a minor fall, it was George who drove him to urgent care. And when George lost his dog of 14 years, it was Tom who sat with him on the porch and said nothing, just stayed. These friendships don't replace family, but they restore something else. The feeling of being chosen, respected, and truly valued in the present moment. Number 4, community builds resilience because belonging is a basic human need. In every season of life, we need somewhere to belong. As we age, that need becomes even more important because it gives us roots when our world starts to change. Community doesn't have to be big. It can be as small as a neighbor who waves every morning, a local librarian who knows your name, or the volunteers at the food bank who look forward to your smile every Thursday. These small touch points keep us tethered to the world. They remind us that we're still part of something, that we matter. In community, we find routine, purpose, safety, People who notice when you've missed a week. People who ask how your doctor's appointment went. People who say, "We missed you." It's this kind of emotional scaffolding that helps us thrive in the face of aging, illness, or change. And the beauty is, you don't need to wait for community to find you. You can begin by simply showing up. Once, twice, again, let people see you. Let yourself be known. Because community isn't built in a day. It's built in 100 small, consistent acts of presence. Number 5, self-reliance is the key to dignity. And dignity is a lifelong gift. There's something profoundly powerful about knowing you can still take care of yourself, not out of pride, but out of love for your own life. Self-reliance isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about staying engaged, about being the active author of your day, instead of a passive observer. Maybe it's trying Tai Chi for the first time, or learning how to use a tablet to watch documentaries. Maybe it's growing herbs in your windowsill, baking a recipe from your mother's old book, or walking around the block every morning. These are not small things. They're declarations. I still have something to give. I still have curiosity. I'm still here. And when the time comes that you do need help, because we all do eventually, asking from a place of strength preserves your dignity. You become someone who participates in your care, not someone who is reduced by it. Self-reliance is not just physical. It's emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. And each step you take in that direction reminds the world you are still a whole person. Number 6, Tom's story. A life rebuilt without depending on his kids. Tom's story didn't end with silence. It began with it. That winter evening, staring at the empty chair where his daughter used to sit, Tom made a promise to himself. He would no longer wait for someone else to bring life back to him. He would do it himself. He started small. A storytelling group at the library. A volunteer shift at the local pantry. A watercolor class every Thursday afternoon. Each new step brought color back into his life. He found himself laughing again, sharing memories with strangers who became friends. He discovered joy in surprising places. The sound of a brushstroke, the smile of a child he helped at the pantry, the quiet pride in learning something new. And here's the twist. Once he stopped needing attention from his children, it came back. His daughter called one evening and said, "You sound different, happier." And Tom said gently, I stopped waiting. I started building. His story is a powerful reminder that the most meaningful chapters of life can be written after 70, if we choose to pick up the pen.